Hi everyone, welcome back to the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. As you can see, I'm joined today by a whole host of people. So we have Jamie, Rach, Chel, and Reece. How are you today, lads? Good.
Not too bad.
Let Reece go first.
Recovering after last night.
Pretty much.
So before we get going, everyone that's watching now, make sure you sub to the channel, like the stream, and get involved in the comments as much as you can. So what we'll start off talk about, obviously, is last night's monstrosity against Liverpool. Wasn't the best game for us to watch, to be honest, and was a game that we wanted to win, and it was a game that we wanted to get 3 points so we could secure second place. Jamie, I'll come to you first. What did you make of the overall game and the lineup, etc.?
Well, as soon as the lineup come out, I just looked at the centre-back pairing straight away, and I thought, right, okay, that's going to kind of set the tone. But then I seen theirs, and I thought, right, okay, we can potentially work with this if we can sort of ride the storm a little bit, because they were always going to create chances. Like players like Salah and the likes of Firmino, they're always going to create chances and get opportunities. So I knew that they were going to kind of get at the back four. But when I thought Luke Shaw predominantly usually has a good game against Salah, so I thought that doesn't worry me too much. And Wan-Bissaka's been playing really well, hasn't he? He's improved a lot. So and we all know he can defend. It's more his attacking game that needed work, and he seems to be getting better. So I was pretty confident, to be fair. Like I generally thought with the rest that the players had, we would have performed a lot better than we did. And to be honest, I don't think we particularly performed bad. We just done what we've been doing consistently for the past couple of seasons and making stupid mistakes. And it ended up costing us with the final result. And you can see what was coming when we were pushing for that third goal there, which we should have, in my opinion, we should have got. Greenwood was unlucky on another day, buries that, but and then you see that they were just trying to pick us off on the counter attack, and it just took one silly mistake by Matic out of position and they were gone. And Henderson's goalkeeping was a little bit questionable for Salah's chance, but overall I think we played some good football. The balance of the team in the first half was all wrong for me. Rashford cannot play on the right, and he physically can't play that role in the Europa League final, that's for sure. We looked such a better team when we brought Mason on the right wing because the balance of the team was better and Paul into the centre. Lindelof had a dodgy game. Bailey, for me, I don't think he's good enough personally. I know he's a good squad player and I'm a big fan of him, but I just don't think he's good enough, unfortunately, to be a starter when we've got injuries. And it just shows now, the fan base have been quite critical of Harry, but it just shows how important he is to the team now. So I think that's put that one to bed. I don't know the severity of his injury, but I'm hoping he's back for the final if possible. But on a whole, disappointing performance, but I won't go in. I could dissect the whole game, but I don't want to take away points for the other guys, so I'll leave it at
that. Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest, because I was very confident yesterday. Normally I'd be a bag of nerves on match day, but I was actually really confident about it. And I seen the lineup then. Obviously, we knew Bailly was going to be starting because Maguire was injured, but I was fairly confident. I was like, this is a strong team now. But again, it just goes to show, like, our midfield and our defence did let us down. But yeah, I was fairly disappointed in the result, especially because I was so confident as well. Rach, what did you make of the game overall?
It was just so disheartening because as soon as we got that first goal, I thought, that's it. Like, we're going to really kick in here and we're going to punish them. Because when you look at their centre-back, I think the reason why I was so angry was because you look at their centre-back pairing, they're two children. Like, that we should be exploiting, like, the inexperience that they had in their back line yesterday. But obviously, that was matched with our own defensive issues. I've said it over and over again. You either play Bailly and Maguire or Lindelof and Tuanzebe. Lindelof and Bailly don't work together. We've seen it on so many occasions. But Lindelof and Tuanzebe, they work, I wouldn't say incredibly together, but they work better in unison. So if you're playing Lindelof without Maguire, you play Twenzebe. And I know Twenzebe is not the most reliable, but he had a very good game against Leicester. He was very solid defensively. So I really think he should have went with that approach, but I can see where he was coming from with putting Bailly in, but yeah, it just didn't work. I thought it was going to be a massively high-scoring game because of the two frailties in the defence. I just didn't think that we would lack the attacking presence as much as we did because it was so dead. The attacking presence was just non-existent. But like Joe said before, Rashford on the right, you might as well play with 10 men because it just doesn't work.
Yeah, agreed. Like we seen as well in the second half when Greenwood came on and Pogba was moved back into the midfield. There was more movement in the midfield and they upped the tempo as well. So I think we definitely seen areas on the pitch that need improvement. Chelsea, what did you make of the game overall?
Yeah, I think you've all covered it really well. What I thought, obviously, I was really disappointed. I kind of saw the lineup and thought, that's a really strong lineup. We should be putting up a fight. We should be winning this, to be honest with you. I'm just annoyed because I've been bantering Liverpool fans for the last few days, and the fact that I'm going to go to work tomorrow and face them all again isn't going to be great. But but yeah, like I said, I think it was just our defence that let us down as per usual. Like you said, obviously, Mr. Maguire has been a lot sort of more of an effect than I first thought. I knew how important he was and I know how good he is, but I just didn't think it would make this much of an impact. But yeah, we created a few chances. Obviously, we did get a couple of goals, but I think all in all, the whole performance wasn't great. Obviously, Fred just was crap in midfield as well. Like our midfield is dead at the minute. But yeah, all in all, not great. I think I'm just disappointed because I expected more, and we just didn't really come out and do anything that good. So yeah,
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. That's the worst.
Yeah, literally, that was me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. To be fair, last night I think I was both, but I've calmed down a little bit now. But yeah, just not great. But on to the next.
Yeah, Reece, what did you make of the game overall?
You got the most vocal human being you'll ever meet on here, and honestly, I'm fucking speechless, put it that way. I think there's only one word I can use to define yesterday, start to finish, and that word is diabolical. Like, you can give these players as much praise as you want, you can give them criticism as you want, you can comment what needs to be fixed, what can be improved upon, but we've been saying this for so long that it doesn't matter who we play, it's always the same bloody mistakes. And as a fan of this club for well over 20 years, the words sick and tired come to mind. Like it wasn't just under Solskjaer these issues have occurred. Like, it's happened under everybody. It's players that let you down. You play your strongest 11 against your biggest rivals. The one team, doesn't matter where you are in terms of position, doesn't matter what the competition is, the one team this club and the fan base hates losing to is Liverpool. We hate losing against Liverpool. And yesterday, I agree, I thought it would have been great to kick on after that first goal. Like, that first goal, that was a great start. Like, in terms of, like, it was 10 minutes into the game. I don't think any of us expected Man United to score in the first 10, 15 minutes. I thought there would have been at least the first goal after maybe the first 25 to 30 minutes, not 10 minutes. It just shows how quick the game kicked off. But in terms of overall, people were saying that we've lost it because of defending. We lost that game because of the midfield. Like, our midfield is spineless. None of them have got bottle. None of them. I wouldn't trust these two against a Sunday League team. Like, in terms of the midfield pairing we had yesterday behind Fernandes, having to do all the work just to cope with the inability of both Fred and McTominay. Yes, they're players that we like. We want our players to do well, but there's certain moments where we cannot even give them like a little bit of praise. And yesterday, I don't care how many ball recoveries they made, who done better in terms of passing accuracy. they were both pathetic. They were both pathetic, and I know I'm normally less angry or less negative than what I am, but frankly, it's fucking Liverpool. Like, and my blood boils every time this club loses or even drops points against Liverpool. Doesn't matter what situation, my blood boils, and I'm still not got over last night. I'm still fuming.
Yeah, I know we didn't necessarily need the points as much as Liverpool did, because Liverpool are fighting for Champions League, but it's the fact that they're our biggest rivals, and anytime we're playing our biggest rivals, we need to beat them, like, you know. So I think that's what made it more disappointing than anything else. Obviously we touched on Harry Maguire there and how important he is in this starting 11. Obviously he's gotten a lot of criticism over the season, mainly because of his price tag, but I actually think he's quite a good centre back, and I think he needs a good partner. Now, by all means, I know everyone criticises Victor Lindelof, but Victor Lindelof has actually had a good season as well. Every player has a few mistakes in them, but obviously last night we missed Harry Maguire massively. To you, Jamie, how important is he in our starting 11?
I think tonight nailed it on the head, and as I said earlier when I was reviewing the game, I think it puts to bed that argument of he's not good enough now. It just shows how important he is. Bailey's not been reliable since we signed him from Villarreal, you know. He's a piece of glass, isn't he? He's just an accident waiting to happen, and I know the fan base love him because he is so passionate. He dives into challenges, but it's just like sometimes he's like a headless chicken, you know. And he is very passionate, and I love that about Man United players. You know, I don't want him to lose that out of his game, but it's like it's in the wrong areas. You know, like he nearly gave away a penalty last night. On another day, that's given. If VAR wasn't there, it's probably a penalty. You know, so I think it's a case of the thing I didn't understand last night, and it's going away from the Maguire issue, but still sort of on the same topic, is Lindelof plays on the right side with Harry. So if Lindelof's our starting centre-back, why are we accommodating Bailey? If Bailey's coming into the team, he should be playing on the left. Now, I know he's probably not comfortable enough to play on the left, and I'm not sure which one of the girls said it, keep me right if it was you, but either Rachel or Chelsea said they should have started Tuanzebe. I agree, just for the balance of the team. We obviously don't have a left-sided centre-back. There's no secret to it. But I just don't understand why Lindelof had to play out of position, because he clearly wasn't comfortable. He couldn't influence the game with the ball like he does because he wasn't comfortable using his right foot in that left-sided position. He constantly turned back and gave it back to Henderson, and then we just recycled possession back to them. So it is a massive problem United have got, and they need to fix it in the summer. But to be honest with you, and I'll be interested to see what the other guys think as well, I don't think we're going to sign a centre-back. I think that Bailey contract was the nail in the coffin for signing a centre-back in the summer. That tells me Mr. Joe Glazer doesn't fancy buying a centre-back, and he'll just give Bailey a new contract. So it's just rinse and repeat with regards to that situation. But quickly touching on Maguire before I stop talking, he's going to be so important. I don't know the severity of his injury, to be honest. I haven't been on social media the last few days to see any updates on it. It didn't look great when he had the cast on. If any of you do know, then feel free to interrupt me and tell me what the crack is with it. But I just hope he's available for the final, if possible. That would be great, because he gives us a solidity with regards to shape of the team and telling players where to be. And he definitely improves Lindelof's game. I think Lindelof and Maguire have looked decent together. Would I want a better centre-back with Maguire? Of course. But Lindelof would be my squad player, and Tuanzebe, not Bailey. And as I said, I'm Bailey's biggest fan. I absolutely love him. But for me, he's had too many chances. And last night was another example of the centre back problem. It's you had Bailey, you had Lindelof, and it was like a car crash. And when you put in McSauce or whatever, McFred, whatever they call it, in front of them, And it's just a nightmare. You've got 4 players there that have got absolutely no cohesion. I see more organisation in my defensive midfielders from my under 11s. And I'm not even joking. So it's a big problem that Ollie has to sort out. But the thing is I will point Ollie out with as well, is he had the options to change it when we were 3-2 up and we were on the front foot to bring Donny on. I mean, what does he have to do to get a game? And then Matic comes on, whose legs have completely gone. And you'd think he'd have the knowledge there with his age and the level of football he's played at to keep the ball simple because of the 2 issues with the centre-back. And then he ends up running into trouble and we're out of position and we go 4-2 down and we're all gutted. But it's a massive issue, that centre-back problem. But as Reece said earlier as well, the 2 in front of them don't help either. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest, because I absolutely love Eric Bailly, and I think it's hard not to love him. But when I seen that he got a new contract, I was like, that's it. They just don't want to spend the money on another centre back. But you can't offer a new contract to a player that cannot stay fit. Like, it's absolutely beyond me, and it just goes to show that they didn't want to spend the money. Rach, what do you make with the whole centre back situation? Do you think Maguire is as important? Do you think he deserves the criticism he's got throughout the year?
No, I don't think he deserves it at all. I'll hold my hands up. I've criticised him before, saying he's too slow. He takes about 2 hours to turn. But
We've all said that.
Pivotal. Yeah, I think there's no doubt about it. He is slow as hell, but he gets the job done in a sense. I know he has his shaky moments, but doesn't everyone? Like the start of the season with him and Lindelof, it was so shaky and it was really, really bad. And everyone was saying, well, we need the new centre back. But towards the latter end of the season, they really gelled, especially with Henderson behind them. They really, really gelled. And I just wanted to say, Jamie, as well, I completely agree, because you took the words right out of my mouth with the Lindelof situation. He was playing on the wrong side. When I saw him on the right, I thought, fuck's sake, because he can't get those long balls down to Rashford or the long balls down to the front end of the pitch like he usually does. So I just thought that was a wrong call anyway. But yeah, the Maguire situation, we don't know what we have until it's gone, to be honest, because it showed last night and also the Leicester game as well that he's so important. And yes, we take the piss out of him because he's got a big head and he can't seem to get his big massive head on target ever, but he's so pivotal, and he is actually a leader. Like at the start of the season, I questioned his leadership skills and I said, is he really a leader and can he take this team forward? But he's become so much more vocal, and that's obviously what you need from a Manchester United captain. So without that presence, yeah, he is irreplaceable, really, in this current team. You can't really put Bailly in there and say you've got rid of Maguire and there's Bailly, or you can't do it with Tuanzebe either. So yeah, we need him back ASAP for the final, 100%.
To be honest, I'd hold my hand up and say I did say in the first half of the season that Maguire shouldn't be captain. But ever since then, he's actually proved me wrong and he started to become more vocal on the pitch, and that's what I like to see. I don't like seeing the captain that's mute. So it was really nice to see that from Maguire and actually see him improving as well as a captain. Chelsea, what do you make of the whole centre-back situation?
Yeah, like I agree with you all that Maguire, I think, is a lot more important than we first thought. Obviously, and I agree. I've said, slightly in the past, I've said that as well. But like Rach said, I think it's just an example of you don't know what you've got until it's gone. Literally, that's just the way I put it, because you could tell last night we missed his leadership. We missed his he's a defensive. He's a rock at the back. That's what he's been all season, and that's why people have been crying out for a centre back partner for him. Somewhere a bit quicker, obviously, for example. But I'd even put Maguire now in my team of the season, because like I said, I don't think I realised how important he was to the squad. And like you all said, I hope to God he's back for the final, because I don't feel confident going to that final without him, really. So yeah, like I said, he's been criticised, but we we need him. I think we need him, and I agree with what the guys have said. Like, it does worry me a little bit that Bailly signing a new contract means that we're not going to get sent back in summer, because I rate Bailly. I think on his day, I think he's a good player, but he doesn't solve the centre back issues. He doesn't solve the problems that we've been crying out for all season. So yeah, I said I hope we do end up sending a partner for him in summer. I know there are rumours, but they're only rumours. And like I said, I just hope Maguire's back and fit as soon as possible, because it's a shame, because I was even saying the day that his injury record has been brilliant. Like, he's never been injured, and then obviously like a week later he ends up getting injured. So
it's your fault, basically.
Yeah, I think I jinxed it.
Yeah,
I think I jinxed
your
it.
fault.
But yeah, hopefully he's back.
You know what though, like,
soon.
Maguire has played every Premier League game, so it was only a matter of time before it was going to happen. I think it's going to be the same for Bruno, unfortunately, because unfortunately Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire are two players you cannot leave out of the team. So I think depth is a bit of an issue. Reece, what do you make of the whole centre-back situation?
What's there to add that's not already been covered? I don't have any confidence in any centre back, maybe except Maguire. I mean, I like Lindelof and he's a good player, but he isn't.
He does
someone
have
who's going to
mistakes
take you
in
on
him.
and win titles as a starter. Yeah, like, he isn't the type of centre back that's going to take you on a league title, win a league title, but he could be involved in winning, like, as a squad player. I don't trust Eric Bailly. I don't trust Twanzebe. Like, both of them haven't got good injury records to go on in terms of, well, you could play them 3 or 4 games in a row. I don't think we could, and it means you're having to, which we've seen all season and last season as well, you're having to play Maguire to the point where he is at breaking point, where he's injured. Now he's out for quite a while, so it just depends on the circumstance. We do need strength and depth, particularly at centre back. I agree with Jamie. I don't see us signing a centre back. I mean, there's rumours of us signing Varane, Koundé, Pau Torres. It's not going to happen.
Christ.
It's not going to happen. It's coming. You just need to wait for the right moment. Like, I'm a build-up human being. You need to wait. I just don't think. I think I agree with Chelsea in terms of Maguire in terms of team of the season. Like, he may not be the best centre back, but you look at what he's done. 80 million is a stretch, but he's actually justified in 71, 72 consecutive Premier League games why we spent 80 million on him. He's not won a trophy yet as a captain. That's not a problem. But he's actually involved in this team in terms of transition to what he is. Like, the way he is, like, as a centre-back, the lack of pace, but his physical strength, he's honestly like Steve Bruce from the 90s. You just need a Pallister-type centre-back beside him, someone who's quick, agile, good on the ball, can get you a goal, and then he can pop up where he needs to get the decisive moment. That's what Maguire is. Like, he's like Steve Bruce from like the 94 team. He's a decisive captain. He doesn't have to be the most vocal. He doesn't have to be as loud as Bruno Fernandes, who you can see every game. Like, he is passionate for leading this team, no matter what the situation is. He will run for it. He will shout. He's vocal. Maguire, he likes to dictate from the back. Like, that's what he does. He leads. He doesn't have to lead with a voice. A captain necessarily doesn't have to voice every single moment. But you see in certain games where Maguire's actually calming down his defence. He's telling Henderson to relax. And he's actually keeping him in control. And that's where it's coming from. And that's why Maguire's a captain. People all season saying, no, swap him for Bruno. No. I actually do not want Bruno as captain of this team. Yeah, I would. I would bring Ramos in for a year. At least we know we've got an additional penalty taker.
At least you're moving on with centre-backs, Reece, because I've got some Geordies downstairs, so keep Steve Bruce's name quiet or I'll get some stick. I've got two Newcastle fans in my living room. Don't mention Steve Bruce too long.
I'm only bringing up that he was a good centre-back. I've got no intention of bringing up as a manager.
Yeah, he was quality.
That.
Manager of the month, though, guys.
But that's what Maguire is. Like, I've watched, like, obviously the double team was before my time, but I've went back and I've watched the games from that double winning season. You see the way that Steve Bruce portrayed himself as a centre back. That is what Maguire is in the modern era. He is like the Steve Bruce of that '94 team. He's composed, he's relaxed, and he's a very good leader. He gets a lot of criticism. Fair enough. But there's some people who take criticism, and then there's some people who take it to a whole new spectrum. Hell no. No, we're not having that. Bull.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Reece. If you can see me laughing, I'm just laughing like in the office today because of what Rachel just said about manager of the month. Matt. There's two lads in the office that are quite vocal on football, and I'm alright to swear on here, Amy, ain't I?
Yeah, you're
Jean's alright for me to swear on here, yeah. So anyway, they sit opposite ends of the office, right? And our office is canny big, like, and the guy went, yeah. Fucking Divvy's got manager of the month, isn't he? And he was like, yeah, fucking joking, man. It was absolutely class. He was like, yeah, man, you've got to be fucking winding me up, you like. It was absolutely class, honestly.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry to go way off topic. It was like, fucking Strawberry Nose has got manager of the month.
A simple Scottish response to that, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, no, sorry. That was my Geordie impression, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That was
yeah,
a
I've just got to wrap up. Yeah, well, there's quality. Like,
sorry,
so
Keane, if you're listening for swearing on your channel.
So just to quickly wrap that part there. Yeah, I'm fine with where we are. It's just we do need depth. I trust one of them completely, and that's Maguire. Lindelof, I back the guy, even though he can be a bit of a nightmare. Buying Lindelof, I wouldn't trust him with a flagpole, let alone with a football.
Who's running the weekly armchair tonight? Bruce in. 2 weeks wages.
2 weeks wages.
Dropped for 2 weeks.
I actually, do you know what? With the centre back pair last night, I think that's why Henderson could have been a bit nervous last night too. He looked very shaky. So that's another point I wanted to drop in there as well.
Agreed.
I want to move on to, we're still saying in the defensive side things, but set pieces are a massive issue. Now, I do have a stat here for you, right?
Oh.
So, Southampton, PSG twice, West Ham, Sheffield United, Leeds, City, Milan, Burnley, Leicester and Liverpool have all scored from corners against United. Everton, City and Leicester have scored from free kicks. Spurs and Villa from quickly taken free kicks, and Newcastle from a corner routine.
14 by any chance?
I'm sorry, that's an awful stat. That makes me sad. That genuinely makes me angry.
It's awful, but it's sadly accurate. That's how bad we are.
Take that comment off. Take that comment off the screen.
So obviously set pieces are a massive issue. Jamie, what do you make of that stat? Do you think it's a coaching issue? Is it a Kieran McKenna issue? What do you think?
Actually, do you know what it is? I don't even know, Amy, to be honest with you. I think it's a little bit of both. It's stupid decision making, it's the zonal marking. I don't like it. I don't know about any of the other or the rest of the panel, but I don't like it. I never have. I've never done it. I've never physically done it when I've played football, so I don't really know. I know it can work if you've got the right players in the right places, but we're just not aggressive enough with that side of things. I think the sorry, I'm trying to read comments here as well. So buckled off that.
Sorry, just wait till I speak in a minute.
So I think the coaching in general is not great. That's probably being a little bit harsh because I presume something's going on in the training ground, but it's been very consistent for a lot of seasons now. Defensive mistakes from set pieces. We're vulnerable from set pieces, and you could see what was going to happen. Arnold constantly whips the balls into that back post, yet we had one guy on the back post. and Pogba just shut off for a minute. And to be fair, not one for giving Liverpool credit, but it was a cracking header. So it's an issue that we've got there that needs to be addressing. But how do you do it? It's all well and good pointing fingers at people, but sometimes it's just the basics on the pitch. Like you guys will know, our coach, and sometimes stuff happens and we concede stupid goals, and I'm like, yeah, we've been working on that. Why is that happening? But it's just one of them things. But it's very consistent to the extent that it's got a massive red flag when it comes to United, and teams are coming up against us and targeting us for set pieces now. And without Maguire in there, I know we all banter Maguire and say he's got a slab head on the other part of the field and he can't score in that, but you need him there for the defensive duties. He's the best header of the ball, and it's a consistent issue that keeps cropping up in it, and we're dropping points because of it. So it's a massive issue, but it's a collective issue for me. It's not, you can't just label it right. The players are not doing this, the coaching's not doing this. It's a collective issue that needs worked on, and I still feel Ollie needs more experienced coaches in his role, in the coaching role. So. Who's doing this channel tonight? Who's running this? McKenna out, Mackay in. Get in there. If it's Keane, he was saying Mackay out when my team went two games beaten, and Keane was asking for my head.
I will say I think the coaching staff is actually quite outdated. To be honest, I think getting in new coaches would probably benefit us. Rach, what do you make of the whole set piece situation, coaches situation?
It's annoying because, whenever the ball goes out for a corner or a free kick, and you automatically think, hey Mel, you automatically think they're probably going to score here, because that's what it just instills in you, that we cannot defend set pieces for our life. And zonal marking, I saw a comment from, I think it was Daniel, that says zonal marking can work. It can work, but you have to be so on it for it to work. And I just don't think in the modern game it's so outdated. I just don't think it can work for this specific team. So just go back to man marking, man. Just do it. I'm sick. I'm actually sick and tired of zonal marking, and I'm sick to death of conceding from set pieces, because people just go there and they just target us for it. They know that if they get a good head on the ball, it's probably going to be a goal, because it's just shite. We can't defend set pieces.
Yeah. What do you think, Chelsea?
Yeah, I echo the rest of you. Like Rach said, I'm sick of conceding from set pieces. Like I said, whenever we get a corner, whenever we get a free kick on the end of the box, or you think the worst instantly. You think that's it, we're going to go goal down, and it shouldn't be that way. But that's just the way that we're going to think at the minute. Like, I agree with you about zonal marking. It just doesn't work for us, and we need to stop it. It's just crap. Like, just not bother with it. And I also think another thing about set pieces, we're giving them away needlessly. Like, on the edge of the box, for example, stupid free kicks that just shouldn't be being given away. So there's that as well. And the whole coaching thing, I feel like, again, a set piece coach would be, a defensive set piece coach would be a really good move. I think we said it before that Ollie, it seems a little bit like Mates FC at the minute. Like, with the whole coaches, we need a proper defensive set piece coach, because the players have got the quality. We've got good players. They just can't defend set pieces, and it's just getting really frustrating now. So I'm hoping we can sort it out, because we don't really have, we can't really get to the bottom of it. We've no idea why it's happening, but it keeps happening, and it is costing us points that we shouldn't be losing. So yeah, it is frustrating. But I hope we can get it sorted out and get to the bottom of it, because I'm just sick of seeing it now.
I feel like Reece might blow. I'll come to you next, Reece.
Set pieces, eh?
Oh, I know who's behind it.
Whoa.
Wow.
Dock them points. Dock them fucking points. Fucking putting Scott Carson in goal. Shocking. Dock them points.
Come on, Reece, let it all
Right,
out.
so where were we? Oh yeah, set pieces. Great. It's like a bad divorce from Man United. It's honestly shocking
That
how
was
bad we
deep.
are from set pieces. Like I could say a lot worse.
Do your
It's
thing,
actually
Reece. This is
quite
why we're here.
embarrassing every time. But if I let off steam, you might see a phone explode. It says it all really how bad we are from set pieces, though. Like if you actually look at the opposition we come up against, Jesus Christ, it says it all just how bad we are. That it doesn't matter who we play, whether it's opposition with 5 foot midgets as a striker, or you're up against the likes of Burnley with Tarkowski, or if it's a free kick from Ward-Prowse, we just cannot seem to cope in any circumstance. And I don't think it's just to do with coaching, although we are shite with coaching. Like our coaches are shit. Simple as that. Like they are.
Outdated.
I think calling them shite. I think calling them shite's generous. There is something that needs to be changed. Whether it's going to happen, I seriously doubt it. Because I agree with what Chel said. It could well come down to the whole mates FC thing. Because half these coaches are either new to the position or they really do suck. I think Kieran McKenna was promoted too early. Michael Carrick, I don't even know what he does. Mike Phelan, he's past it. Exclusively past it. He's got Lee Grant as a goalkeeping coach when no one else is available. It's worrying to say the least. I mean, this is a club that used to be like a well-oiled machine for, like, you could name the likes of Carlos Queiroz, Steve McLaren, at a time Walter Smith when he was here for 1 year. You also had Rennie Mullenstein, Carlos Queiroz. You put them in this backroom staff, it says it all really, where we would be both offensively and defensively from any situation. We would actually be coached properly. And what we've got right now is... No, I'm not gunning. Not yet. I'm just very passionate about this football club. I'm not going to answer that question.
Can I just add something to the...
Go ahead.
Right, you know how the Newcastle fans hate Steve Bruce?
Yeah.
Yeah? They also hate Emil Kraft, and he's the one that scored against City. Let me just let you into a quick insight into Emil Kraft before we move on. Emil Kraft wouldn't get in my under-11s team. Sorry. I'll go back on mute.
Matt Chanchel's just scored.
I'm going to move on. Obviously,
maybe it was Kraft defending.
Obviously, we had Scott McTominay and Fred in midfield last night, and it seemed to be the go-to pairing in midfield. I think a lot of us are sick and tired of playing 2 centre-backs when they're not even centre-backs. 2 defensive midfielders playing the one position, and neither two of them are defensive midfielders. I was getting out. Everyone knows how much I love Scott McTominay, but he was frustrating the life out of me yesterday in the first half because every ball he got, he gave it away. Fred was no better. So it goes to show that definitely a defensive midfielder is priority this summer. We seen when Greenwood came on and Pogba came into the middle of the pitch, McTominay actually looked a bit more confident with Pogba beside him. We upped the tempo a bit. What do you think, Jamie? Do you think a defensive midfielder is definitely a priority?
Yeah, I think sometimes McTominay and Fred create more problems than they help solve, to be honest. Sorry, I'm just a little bit taken back there because there was a couple of funny comments and stuff, but is this one to me, is it? All right, who's trying to dig me out?
That's towards me for gunning out every single bloody coach. You can be a UEFA Pro license. You can be a UEFA Pro license coach, but you can also be either very experienced or you could be outdated. And I know which one's inexperienced. I know which one's outdated. One's McKenna. The other's Mike Fionn.
I thought that was digged at me because I mentioned my under-11s team, but we did go 11 games unbeaten, so there you go. Just saying. Anyway. I think they create problems just by their lack of footballing ability, to be honest with you. A defensive midfielder is supposed to win the ball back and recycle it to better players. That's what a defensive midfielder is. And Fred is on par with Kraft, who I've just slated for passing. You know, like Fred's passing is not great at all, and it's just his decision making, and that's a cracking comment. That, Aaron, tell you what, Fred is being called up to the Brazilian team. God, I wouldn't get a game for Bosnia if I was in charge of them, let alone Brazil. So I think it's a massive issue because I'm going way off topic. Jemba. People are on fire in the comments tonight. I love it. Anyway, I'm trying to be serious here because all I'm thinking about is Emil Kraft.
It won't last.
And like all we've got to bring on, if he does stick with this double pivot, is Maguire. And to be honest with you, you can sit here and speak all day about the issues and what they do and what they don't do, but it comes down to recruitment. And if they're not going to buy a defensive midfielder, this is what happens. If they're not going to buy a centre-back, Ollie's going to persist with this two midfield pivot, and they just don't allow us to progress the ball from a deeper position. You seen what happened when Paul went in there yesterday and we brought Mason on the right. The balance of the team was much better because we could play from deeper and we had somebody that had the physical ability to pass the ball. Fred and McTominay just like to pass to the side, which I get. They're trying to retain the ball. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but when you're looking at options, you've got Matic, who's exactly the same. And as I mentioned earlier, his legs have gone. Matic is not good enough, in my opinion, anymore. And I did really like him when he first signed, but I just think he's too old. And Donny van de Beek, like, what, can he not play that pivot? Is he going to do any worse than Fred and McTominay? In my opinion, he isn't, and I don't know what's going on with him. I would love to know, because why are we not giving him a chance? Yes, Evan, I'm with you. Give him a chance.
I honestly don't think he's taken his chances when he's been given them.
He hasn't. I kind of agree with that, but a player coming in from a lower standard league is going to take time to come in and develop, you know, and he's shown enough in his attributes for Holland and Ajax. Ajax are a Champions League team, you know, and I feel like he ain't going to do any more. I don't know. Am I upsetting you, Reece, or something, lad?
No,
but
no, like, not you. I'm just not saying anything. Put it that way.
I'm guessing it's the
Reece.
comment.
I'll send you a virtual hug.
Sorry,
we just don't have any options.
I'll get back later.
I feel like the person, I think it's Keane running the armchair page. I don't know. If it isn't, I apologise. But right, Keane nailed it on the head when he said we need Rice because we need to bring in a player with the ability. Aaron's on the ball tonight. That's what we want to see. Declan Rice, so we can play one defensive midfielder, but we need another centre-back as well to allow us to play that one defensive midfielder. And if he's going to stick with the double pivot, then one of them double pivot players needs to be Pogba.
I agree. Yeah, I think defensive midfielder has to be priority because I think you can change up the formation that way as well. Like if you want to play a midfield diamond, you can then play your box-to-box player as well. So, Rach, what do you think of... Do you think a defensive midfielder is priority?
100%. It's so clear to see that when you've got two people doing one-man job, it just doesn't work.
And neither of them can pass the ball.
Exactly. That's what frustrates me about this McFred partnership. Fred's got the tenacity. McTominay is good on the press, so like when you press him, he's really, really composed sometimes. But
I think he struggled last night with that, to be honest.
yeah, that's why I kind of just had to cover myself by saying sometimes, because last night was an exception to fucking everyone's performances. But they can't pass more than 5 yards. It's either sideways, back, or 5 yards in front, and then there's just nothing to it. It's just a complete dead zone in the middle, and that's how teams dominate us and dominate the ball. It's through that midfield area, and that's what we really need to work on. We need an established CDM to come in and command it, and don't bubble wrap the defenders as well, because that's what obviously Fred and McTominay and obviously Harry and Lindelof do. They bubble wrap each other, if you kind of get what I'm trying to say. They kind of do each other's jobs, if that makes sense. So you just need a CDM who is established, knows what the fuck he's doing, and is fucking good at it. And that's just it. I mean, if Declan Rice is that person, then potentially, I'm not saying no, but we need an established central defensive midfielder.
Yeah, and I think as well,
Looks like you're getting a 2-week fine as well for them swearing words.
I just can't help it when I get annoyed. I swear. So.
Be consistent. Be consistent.
I think as well when you're playing Fred and McTominay, Bruno is not getting a lot of service from them, so he has to play deeper as well to try find the ball for himself. So I think with a defensive midfielder who can pass the ball and pass the ball quick, it'll benefit Bruno massively. Chelsea, what do you make of the situation?
Yeah, so obviously I'm not denying that the fact that we need a centre back, we do. But we've been crying out for one all season, but I am now edging more towards need a CDM over centre back, because like you've all said, McFred is 2 players doing one job. Like
they can't do it right.
Exactly. Fred's got the energy, you can't put that past him. McTominay is more, I would say, more of a box-to-box player than a defensive player anyway. So I feel like you've got them two. I mean, it's the best we've got at the minute, because I don't rate Matic at the minute at all. And they're both just trying to obviously protect the centre backs. And don't get me wrong, it does work in some games. Like McFred does work in some games, but it is the reason why we're not creating many chances, because we need, like someone said in the comments, we need someone like Declan Rice or Ndidi, some solid defensive midfielder. So you can play Pogba and Bruno in the midfield, and you can get that creativity, you can get the ball forward. But currently we don't have that. So yeah, I really, really, really hope we end up signing DM in summer, because I don't think we can continue next season with McFred, because it's not good enough, and it's not creating what we need. So yeah, I do really.
Come on now, Reece, don't hold back this time. Say what you need to say.
About what? Fred's full of mixed suicide. Those two do not work in the style that we use them for. Like the system, it doesn't work. Jamie, I'll let you answer that one.
Daniel, I'm gonna give you a mention tonight, lad, because you've been class in the comments. I see you. Was it you that wrote about Joelinton as well? Was it you?
Yeah,
Let
it
me
was.
check.
Yeah.
Because if it was, your man of the match for tonight's comments. Yeah. Have they? Emil Kraft for a double.
What a crafty performance!
Let's have a look.
So anyway,
it was Daniel.
So back to the midfield partnership that we are inevitably stuck with. I mean, I've got to watch one of them in the Euros. That's going to be tragic. You can have one or the other in this squad, but both of them as a starter, like, is wrong. Like, it shouldn't be. Like, both of them aren't good enough to do the role. Neither of them are actually prepared to learn this role at all. Like they're considerably average. I think that's being generous. We definitely need to improve on both players in the summer. Whether it can be done or not, I don't know if they're going to look mean, they're looking at getting Laurenti, he's a good player, but he's not a defensive midfielder, but he's a good box-to-box midfielder. So there's McTominay gone. Brilliant. And then you look to get a defensive midfielder. Whoever that may be, whether they promote from within, it could well be James Garner, but I think it's a year too soon. Or you go out and get a Declan Rice. Frankly, as long as there's someone who's competent to do the job, I don't care who it is, just as long as they do the job and they can pass a ball further than 5 yards and they actually pass it forward. I like Zakara. He's actually a very good option. I'm vouch for that. At least he can be a backup. It's a defensive midfield we can use him for. We can use him alternatively at centre back if we've got injuries. It just depends on what we want to do. Do we want to play a 4-3-3? I like United. I'm just pissed off at several people. There's a difference. You bastard. It's just, there's certain players in this team that definitely, in my opinion, don't belong there. Not even deserve to wear the shirt, they just don't belong there. And it needs to be rectified in the summer, whether they do it from within or they bring someone in. It needs to be done. It's just, they cannot keep relying on the same players week after week who aren't consistent enough or actually worth playing in this team. That's why we're having to play Maguire further forward as well, just to cope. Have to cover them as well. Well, you see a lot, he's having to cover the two of them. Go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell.
Daniel, Joe Linton.
Oh my God.
Fucking Celtic.
Right, we'll move on, right? So
yeah, get that crap off the screen.
Yeah, Reece, I've got something for you.
Obviously, we need 2 more points to secure second. Now, we don't play again till Tuesday, and our next game is Fulham. In your opinions, do you think we should rest players, or do you think we should still play full strength? Because we do have the Europa League final coming up, and I think Van de Beek should be more than capable to play Bruno's role, in my opinion. What do you think, Jamie?
To be honest with you, and people might think this is a little bit of a negative spin, but it isn't. Like, if we finish second or third or fourth, it's not going to really make any difference. Like, we're going to get Champions League football. No one's going to remember who finished second in 20 years' time, you know? And I've been quite vocal with that, and some people kind of don't like it because they seem to get some sort of thrill out of the fact that we finished second.
I'm not going to have shite on my wall, thank you. My walls would need to be fucking fumigated.
Captain Lee the legend.
Is he fuck?
Anyway, you'll get your turn in a minute, Reece. I'm only joking. Where was I? God, I've got Emil Kraft, Joe Linton, Reece, Scott Brown, God almighty. Right, I've completely lost my trail of thought, so Amy, please tell me what I was talking about.
Would you go full strength?
You were talking about how good Crafty is as a defensive midfielder.
Let's not go
Sorry,
there.
I had to get that in there.
Would you go full strength Tuesday, or would you rest players, or do you care about getting second?
Have we got Fulham on Tuesday, or was it Wolves?
Fulham.
It's Fulham, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
It's Fulham, yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Well, I think Man United's reserves, shall we say, Donny van de Beeks, the Matic's, they should have enough to beat Fulham. You know, so
yeah.
Why? For me, we've got to do everything we possibly can to rest our better players for the big one, because the season, in my opinion, and as I say, others on the panel might not have the same opinion, but I think the season's over. It doesn't really matter. We're going to get in the Champions League. If we finish second, great. If we finish third, we're still going to get Champions League. If we finish fourth, I know we probably won't finish fourth. We're still going to get Champions League. So we're on to a good position with regards to Champions League football next year. So I feel like it's all about the Europa League for me. I don't know about the other guys, but I'll be interested to see if they've got the same mindset as me. It's all about winning that game. And yeah, fair enough, Keane. I do get where you're coming from. Get third secured. Get second secured, sorry. But it's all that, it's that game or bust for me. The last remaining fixtures are just games that we've got to play. We've had a good season in comparison to the league. Obviously, we were top of the league for a little while when everyone was buzzing about that. And we've sort of consistently been second for a long time. So it would be nice to finish second. But for me, it's all about the Europa League now. And I just hope Ollie doesn't go full strength in all of the remaining games and risk getting an injury to a Bruno Fernandes, to a Pogba, to a Bissaka, something like that, just to try and cement second. It's all about the final for me.
To be honest, I agree with Cian's comment here. I think the players have to play themselves back into form again, and that's not something that you want coming up to a European final. So I'd preferably go full strength and then rest players for Wolves for the final. What do you think, Rach? What's your mindset on it?
I completely agree. I'd rather us go full strength tomorrow because we know that when we play the lower teams, we struggle. It's just a fact. And
yeah,
I actually can't. I do care about league position this year because I want to see progress in the table. Last year we were third. Second is obviously just a step up. So I do want us to cement that second spot. But I would rather us play full strength for Fulham, weakened side for Wolves, and then again full strength in the final. I wouldn't like us to play a weakened team against Fulham just because they're lower down in the table and then feel like we have to play a stronger team against Wolves because they're that little bit better, if you get what I mean. And we all know that Wolves is a fucking dead game anyway between the two teams. It always is. I would rather us get the win on Tuesday night, hopefully with fans there, and hopefully I will be there, fingers crossed, and get that second spot just done, sealed and delivered, because I still have flashbacks of that fucking Champions League when we only needed 1 point and we didn't get it. So that's what's kind of triggering in my head. And I'm like, what if that happens again? So I actually do want us to just get the win, secure second, rest the players for Wolves, and then go gung-ho in the final and just smash it and bring home the silverware that Ollie and the players deserve to show for their efforts this season, because it has been a massive progression, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Can I just say, remind me to never ask for permission to swear when Rachel's on a programme. I'm only joking, Rachel.
Nah, it's fine.
Chels, what do you think? Full strength or rest players?
See, my first thought was to go for a more weakened side, but now I'm listening to your arguments. I feel like I would like to play a strong side because, like you said, I'd rather have a bit of form going into the final than 3, 4, 5 losses in a row. Like, that's not the kind of momentum you want when you go into a final, especially when it's our first final in a few years and we're actually like, a chance of winning something. I think maybe rest a couple of players, or maybe start a full strength squad, and then when we've killed the game off, hopefully sub a few at half time, give the players who need the rest for the final, give them the rest. Because we've had it before where we started a week inside and then brought players on, but it's been too late. Whereas if we play them first and then bring them off, you've got that sort of, that thing sorted for you. So yeah, I feel like maybe rest a couple of players, but I'd say maybe not as strong as against Liverpool, not as weak as against Leicester, just kind of a little bit in the middle, maybe a little bit more to the strong side. But again, if players need to come off, bring them off. Don't leave it too late, end up going a couple of goals down, because you know what we're like, and then having to bring them on and it being too little too late. Because I think, like I said, we do need some form going into the final, because we need a little bit of confidence. We can't go into it off the back of 5 losses and then end up bottling it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Reece, what do you think?
I think we really need to go full strength, to be honest. I do agree that there's a lot of players in this team that are confidence players, and they really don't seem to adapt well to losing. Like, they need to take like a couple of defeats before they bounce back into form. So I think they realistically do need to go full strength against Fulham. What I would do as well, as I agree with Chelsea, is I would go, keyword is hopefully, if the game's killed off by 55, 60 minutes, use those free substitutions there and then and take off your three best players or whatever and rest them. Bring on some fringe players, get them into some match fitness, get them sharp, because we are going to need every available player by the end of the season. We are going to need them.
Sorry, I've just got the email to find out that
Okay.
I've just got the email to find out I'm unsuccessful for the ballot.
Oh no!
That's annoying.
Unlucky. If it's any consolation, I'm apparently the David
Yeah.
Attenborough of football.
That doesn't make me feel any
I
better.
don't know. And it doesn't make me feel any better either. I don't know how I've aged 75 years. Nah, credit
Ain't
to
got
Sir
a ballot
David.
for
He's an
Newcastle. We're
absolute
giving
legend.
tickets away.
Where was I before I spoke about a TV legend? That's right. Going full strength. We don't necessarily have to go full strength against Wolves, but we should go full strength against what? Oh yeah, it's my internet. Never mind.
Daniel!
Worst thing is my internet's
I'm gonna mute. I can't cope.
Is Reece frozen?
Come on.
I think so.
Yeah, that was more of a freeze than anything else. I hate my phone today. What I was actually saying was I wouldn't mind going full strength and then go weak against. Fuck's sake. Go full strength against Fulham. Make changes early if the game's done by half time, or just slowly into the second half, and then Wolves make some changes, but don't start Bruno, Pogba, or Cavani. I wouldn't start them against Wolves.
That makes her feel better, Daniel.
Yeah, that makes me feel so much better. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, mate.
Popping in the Emmy and Craft banner, and then you bring down the tone with that comment, Daniel. Have a word with yourself.
I'm only joking, Dan. I'm really happy for you. I really am.
I'm only joking, mate.
Right, we'll move on to the last topic of the night. So, with the whole protest and with the Glazers coming out and apologising and whatnot, do you think they may try to get us on their side again and throw in a bit of money in the summer? And if so, realistically, how many signings do you think we'll make, Jamie?
I think it matters for the players that leave. Like there's rumours obviously that De Gea's going to leave. I think a couple of the younger goalkeepers are out of contract. So I don't know if we're going to potentially look to bring in another experienced goalkeeper to challenge Henderson. Will be a backup to Henderson. So we potentially might need a goalkeeper. I think Romero's leaving. De Gea is rumoured to be leaving. So there's a gap there that needs filled. But if we go into the season without a right winger and without a defensive midfielder, it's the same story as this season. So in my opinion, we've put it off for too long, these positions. We should have signed these years ago. And it's cost us big time. So I feel like if the Glazers have got any common sense, they will go out heavy in the market and try and win us back on side. We all know it's not going to happen. But that's the only way that there's going to be some sort of positivity going into the new season. But I hope the protests continue. You know, even if they spend big money, let's keep doing them because there's a bigger picture to all of that. But I'm not getting into that. I feel like we'll bring 2 players in, maybe a third player. In my opinion, we need a centre back. If it was up to me, I would be going all out for Sancho for the right wing. I know we had a debacle with him last season, but I feel he is gettable. If it was up to me to make the decision to sign a centre back, I would go for Fofana at Leicester. Really young, quality centre back that I think will cost a couple of million, but he'll be worth it in the long run. We're not going to get Varane. We're not going to be in the market for him. I think we'll get outpriced for Kwande at Seville. And the defensive midfielder, I'm putting all my eggs in the Rice basket. That's the 3 players I would like to see us bring in.
Yeah, I completely agree. And to be honest, we could save the money on that Rice deal as well if we were to do a swap deal with Jesse Lingard. So who knows what could happen with that. Rach, what do you think? What do you think realistically, how many signings do you think we're going to make? Do you think the Glazers are going to put money in this summer?
I agree. I do think they are going to spend this summer because they will want to get back into the fans' good books. So I think I agree. Right wing and CDM is the 2 main positions that we need, and obviously a centre back is then kind of a little bit of extra on the side, and also a backup right back as well for Aaron Wan-Bissaka's competition, because Wan-Bissaka can't play.
Ethan Laird could do that though.
Who?
Yeah.
Ethan Laird could do that.
Yeah, could promote with him, but if we are looking for an established, like a Premier League proven, then we'd need a backup right back. But I'm completely happy with promoting Ethan Laird because I think he is fantastic. So, but I think right wing and CDM 100% we need, and I agree with Jamie. We need to go all out for Sancho. Last year I got sucked in.
Yeah.
I think like everyone, I got my hopes up. Every single little bit of, he's in Manchester. Oh, the smoke coming out of Old Trafford. It's like every single little bit of information. It was like, he's coming, and it's not. So,
I think with his price tag, having dropped as well this coming transfer window, I think we do have a good chance of getting him. Sorry, Jamie, what were you going to say there?
Oh, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off there. I think Ollie's got a decision to make with regards to what he's going to do with Mason Greenwood. And if he sees Mason Greenwood as a centre-back, goodness me, as a centre-forward, he can probably play better at centre-back. There's the answer there. But no, if he's going to play him as a sort of playing in when Cavani's not available, because Ollie doesn't start Cavani every game, and his age won't allow him to do that anyway when we go into all the competitions next season. So if he does see him as a centre forward, I feel like we have to blood him in with Cavani at the club because he can learn a lot from him. Cavani's movement is absolutely fantastic, and Greenwood's, we all know he can finish. If he can take anything from his game, it's only going to improve Mason Greenwood, and I think he's a superstar anyway. So if he thinks that's the way we need to go, we need to be buying a right winger. If Ollie sees Mason Greenwood as a right winger, we need to be in the market for a backup striker. That's where I'm at. I should have mentioned that earlier, so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we don't see Jesse Lingard back.
You've got an agenda.
I don't have an agenda. I'm just gone past that Jesse Lingard phase now, to be honest. Chelsea, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that we are going to have a better transfer window than last year. Again, just because the Glazers are going to try and get the fans back on the side again. And to be honest with you, I don't think people don't really care, but it's something that will help. Which is why I think we will get one marquee signing. I genuinely do believe, and I don't want to be sucked into what I already said, but I genuinely do believe we will get Sancho this time. I think we will. Maybe I'm wrong, but who knows? I have a feeling that we're going to get him because everything was agreed last year. Everything was sorted out.
That was class, that.
Everything was sorted out, so I feel I genuinely can see that happening. Again, we do need a CDM, and I worry for some reason. I worry that we won't do that, and I worry that this is McFred again next season. And that's something I really, really don't want to see. So fingers crossed. Someone like a Chel Rice, 100%. I want that. And again, a centre back is still important. It still will be nice to have someone to partner with Maguire. And again, I've loved Varane, but I can't see it happening. But hopefully we sign those three players because I think they're the most important ones.
Reece, what do you think? Do you think the Glazers are going to splash the cash, or how many signings realistically do you think we'll make?
They'll splash money, but it definitely won't be theirs. I actually think they're going to spend about 200 million. I've said it for the past month, and I'm sticking by it. They're going to spend about 200 million, and it's going to be on about 3 or 4. My only worry is, are they actually going to sign the players we need, or are they just going to go out and sign players that are just marquee to get the fans on side, which have never been on in the first place? So one thing that's been a constant problem for years is recruitment. Like, we get like the odd signing that actually works out, like a Bruno Fernandes, that was a stroke of luck. But then we've had other players that have been absolutely diabolical. Dan James, for example. Like, there's just some players that really do work, and there's some that we don't. And that's my biggest worry, is that we're not actually going to sign the players we need. We're going to sign the players that's just for marquee, just to get shirt sales and to make this club something to enjoy. Oh, for goodness sake. Jeez,
Trevor. Put a couple of crackers on the screen, lads.
I've got a fucking Domino's pizza beside me, and he just made me like near enough like not even look at it, like just reading that comment, and that's put me off my dinner. Fuck's sake. But that's my worry, is we should sign 3 or 4. We need 3 or 4 in certain positions, like centre back, defensive midfield, right wing. I still think we should bring in another striker. And the reason I say that is Cavani's fantastic and Greenwood's getting there. But the likes of what have both get injured. Martial, like, he's a good player, but he's not a striker in my opinion. He's a winger. He should be competing with Rashford on the left hand side. So you're going to need someone in there, like just additional, in the event that we do need a striker, because we've seen it before. You can win the league with multiple strikers. It's good to have numbers in that position. It doesn't have to be someone like at levels of Cavani, but someone who's done the job in the Premier League. Someone that's done the job. I mean, we've been linked with Danny Ings numerous times. He's one that I would bring in.
Angry.
No comment when it comes to food, right? No comment. When it's my food, I get annoyed. I don't share food.
Yeah, to be honest, I think the Glazers might actually put some cash in now for transfers just to try get us back on their side again, to be honest. But I think when it comes to that, I think not only do we need players, but the stadium really needs to be done. Like, I mean, the metal on the outside stadium is going rusty because they won't even put paint on it. So I think a lot of stuff around the Glazers, stadium, transfers, any bit of money going into the club, I think it does need to be done. I think they are going to try and get us back on their sides again by putting money into transfers this summer, to be honest. I don't know what kind of players we're going to sign, to be honest. Obviously, we have a new director of football. The only thing we can do is wait and see. But anyway, guys, we'll leave it there. I'll go around and you can shout out where everyone can find you on your socials. Jamie?
Yeah, just my caption or my name's my Twitter handle. I float around there talking nonsense like I've been doing tonight. So if you fancy come and have a little bit of crack, you'll get me on there. But really good to come back on. I ain't been on here for a while. It's been good crack, good comments. I really enjoyed it. So thanks for having me. No
worries at all. Rach?
I'll tell you where you can't find me, at Old Trafford. I'm lit, lads. I'm fucking devastated. Genuinely, I'm in such bad mood now. You can follow me on Rach MEFC7. I'll probably be on there moaning all night now. So go follow me if you want to.
Chel?
You can follow me on Twitter and it's Chel UTD.
Reece?
If you want some lethal injection of dealing with morons, find me at United Venom 7.
You can also find me on Twitter on It's You at 8, and thanks a million to everyone that was involved in the comments. Make sure you like the video, sub to the channel, all that crack. If you also want to go over, Sean is live now on the London Lowdown and he is talking about Chelsea's cup clash tomorrow with Leicester. So if you want to go check that out now, it's live, and hope everyone has a good weekend.